Good morning here from Canada. Welcome. This is our student development 30-minute session, and my name is Joanna. I will be guiding you today. I am a Your Yoga Flow student. I graduated from the 200 and 300 hour programs, and I am an online teacher on the Your Yoga Flow platform and a faculty member on the team staff. So it is a pleasure and a privilege to be with you, joining you live from my home to yours. And I hope that technology is on my Saturday and that it is clear audibly and visually for you. So today we are going to be delving into a book by Pema Chodron called How to Meditate. If you have a copy of the book at home yourself, then I encourage you to bring it with you for this session and we can read together. If you don't worry. I'd be reading sections from the book. And of course, if you feel drawn to afterwards, you could always put it on your reading list. So we'll just wait a moment or two for people to find their way here. Again, my name is Joanna and I will be your guide. Make sure that you are in a comfortable seat, whether that is sitting on the floor, a cushion, a bolster, or sitting in a chair. I happen to be sitting on my couch, but my back is lifted away from the back of the chair, so I am sitting in an upright tall position. You want to make sure that if you are sitting in a chair that the soles of your feet are rooted and your feet are in parallel, and that you can feel wherever you're sitting the anchor of your pelvis to the floor, a lift up through the crown of your head. And for this practice, if you feel drawn to, you could have your eyes closed throughout and experience this whole 30 minutes as a meditative practice. Okay, so How to Meditate by Pema Chodron. Let us begin by me just introducing Pema in case you are unfamiliar with who she is. So Pema is an American Tibetan Buddhist. She is an ordained nun and is currently the principal teacher at the Gampo Abbey in Nova Scotia, Canada. A central theme to her teaching is the principle of Shenpa, or attachment, which she interprets as the moment one is hooked into a cycle of habitual, negative, or self-destructive thought or actions. Pema believes this happens when something in the present stimulates a reaction to a past experience. So I'll just read that again. So a central theme for her teaching is the principle of Shenpa, or attachment, which she interprets as the moment one is hooked into a cycle of habitual negative or self-destructive thoughts or actions. Pema believes that this happens when something in the present stimulates a reaction to a past experience. She's written many books, including How to Meditate, which is what we will be diving into today. So, why meditate? Sitting meditation gives us a way to move closer to our thoughts and emotions and to get in touch with our bodies. It is a method of cultivating unconditional friendliness towards ourselves and for parting the curtain of indifference that distances us from the suffering of others. It is our vehicle for learning to be a truly loving person. Gradually, meditation, we begin to notice that there are gaps in our internal dialogue. In the midst of continually talking to ourselves, we experience a pause, as if awakening from a dream. We recognize our capacity to relax with the clarity, the space, open-ended awareness that already exists in our minds. We experience moments of being right here that feel simple, direct, and uncluttered. This coming back to the immediacy of our experience is training in unconditional or absolute. By simply staying here, we relax more and more into the open dimension of our being. It feels like stepping out of fantasy and discovering simple truth. So, Pema describes meditation as saying that our minds are naturally wild and can veer us into states of chaos and suffering. Taming the mind is the key to the root inner happiness and equanimity. Meditation is the most effective tool to work the mind. Meditation allows us to live in a more compassionate, attentive way. Meditation is not about ignoring the bad stuff in life and always feeling good. Meditation allows us to face the inevitable pain and suffering in life with steadfastness and an open heart. So if you have Pema's book, How to Meditate, you can follow along with this reading. I'm on page 1. The mind is very wild. The human experience is full of predictability and paradox, joys and sorrows, successes and failures. We can't escape any of these experiences in the vast terrain of our existence. It is part of what makes life grand, and it is also why our minds take up on such a crazy ride. If we can train ourselves through meditation to be more open and more accepting toward the arc of our experience, if we can lean into the difficulties of life and ride of our minds, we can become more settled and relaxed amid whatever life brings us. There are numerous ways to work the mind. One of the most effective ways is through the tool of sitting meditation. Sitting meditation opens us to each and every moment of our life. Each moment is totally unique and unknown. Our mental world is seemingly unpredictable and graspable. We believe that thinking through all the events and to-do lists of our life will provide us ground and security. But it's all fantasy. And this very moment, free of conceptual overlay, is completely unique. It is absolutely unknown. We've never experienced the moment before, and the next moment will not be the same as the one we are in now. Meditation teaches us how to relate to life directly so that we can truly experience the present moment, free from conceptual overlay. If you have the book now, turn to page 23. This section is on stabilizing the mind. Whenever you sit down to meditate, the first thing you do is settle. Settling means that you come into the room where you intend to practice meditation and you allow yourself to be completely as you are. You check in with yourself. You have a sense of being here and knowing what you brought in with you. I'll read that bit again. You have a sense of being here and knowing what you brought in with you. Perhaps on one particular day you have felt very quiet at breakfast. Perhaps you were looking out at the ocean or at the trees outside your window. Actually come to your meditation quite settled and still. Other times you feel rushed. You gobbled your breakfast and ran up and down the stairs, and you arrive at your meditation feeling all wound up. Maybe something happened last night or after breakfast that has you worried and upset, and so you're completely churned up. Maybe you're really tired, so you feel like you're hardly there. You might even feel dull or a sense of sinking. One thing we can say for sure is that whenever you make time to sit down and practice meditation, you bring something along. You bring your thoughts and joys from the day with you, your disappointments and your concerns. The idea isn't to just plunk down and start your timer and block out everything that you've brought with you. So first, have some sense where you're at. Ask yourself the questions. What am I feeling physically? What is my mood? What is the quality of my mind? So step one is getting settled. It's checking in with yourself. The point is that there's not a good way to come into meditation or a bad way to come into meditation. It might feel preferable to show feeling calm and spacious, but really meditation is about being awake and present to whatever's going on. You can't critique your meditation in terms of good and bad. The only thing you can measure your meditation against is the question, was I present or not? And even then, to say to yourself that you weren't present is a result of the fact that you've been meditating and you recognize the fact. There's some sense of awareness about what is actually happening. Let's do the exercise here. Touching in with the present moment. So find yourself a tall, comfortable seat, let your spine get nice and long, roll your shoulders back and down. At the beginning of a meditation session, it can help to check in with your mind before you begin. See where you're at right now. To find yourself in the present moment, it can help if you run through a series of questions to help you contact your mind, to help you to become aware of what's happening in this very moment. So the first question is, what are you feeling? Can you contact what you're feeling? It could be your mood or your physical body, a quality of drowsiness or peacefulness, agitation or physical pain, anything. Can you contact that non-verbally and just get a sense of what you're feeling? To refine this question a little bit, are there any emotions? And can you be present to them? Can you contact them? We're not talking about having to name anything or remembering the history of the emotion or anything like that. Just be present to what you're feeling right now. Are you experiencing any physical sensations right now? Any pain, any tightness, relaxation? What about your thoughts? What's the quality of your thoughts right now? Is your mind very busy? Is it quite drowsy? Is it surprisingly still? Are your thoughts raging or peaceful or dull, obsessive or calm? If I were to ask you personally right now, what is the quality of your mind at this moment, whether it's still or wild or dull, whatever it might be, what would you say? Hopefully these questions will help you touch in and make deep contact with yourself. Pema suggests that you begin your meditation practice with these questions. With practice, you'll find that you don't need to run through a list of questions to bring yourself into the present moment on your cushion. It will become more automatic. Your intention is to simply locate your mind and stabilize the mind as you launch into your practice. Let's turn to page 103, 104. Okay, this section's called Breathing with Emotion. When a strong feeling comes up, it will often be accompanied by a strong habitual pattern. These are the emotions where you automatically start to go into your justification or defense, or your story, or search for pleasure, or whatever it is you do. It is where we really get stopped in our tracks on our path of awakening. This is also the very place where we could make enormous progress on the path if we're willing to allow our thoughts and emotions to become part of our path. When the emotions arise, go to the body and breathe in and out. And at the same time, experience the emotion. I'll read that bit again. When the emotion arises, go to the body and breathe in and out. And at the same time, experience the emotion. If you just go to the breath without experiencing the emotion as well, this can be a way of repressing the emotion. So if you just go to the breath without experiencing the emotion as well, this can be a way of repressing the emotion. For example, anger comes up, and then you go to breathing as a way to chill out the anger. But you also want to really experience the underlying energy of anger until it no longer has this power over you. Chilling out helps a little bit, breathing in and out, but the anger will still be there to just pop out the next time the causes and conditions arise. It's there just as strong, and you're just as afraid of it as ever. Maybe even more afraid. Because every time you repress it, you're becoming more afraid of it. It's becoming more of an opponent, and it's bigger than you. So experience the emotion. Breathing is a way of staying present. It anchors you. Because if you just go to the felt experience without the breath, my experience and the experience of other meditators has been that you can drown in it. And this leads to overwhelm. I'll read that bit again. So experience the emotion. Breathing is a way of staying present. It anchors you. Because if you just go to the felt experience without the breath, My experience and the experience of other meditators has been that you can drown in it, and this leads to overwhelm. You need to breathe with the emotion. You don't breathe it away. If the emotion does dissipate, fine. That's what just happened. And it does happen. Let it be like that. But the point is to go to our experience rather than to go to our strategies or our conceptual ways of exiting. You're breathing the emotion in, and so you're being with it. You are it, actually. You could even imagine that you are breathing the emotion into the heart. Imagine you are breathing it into the heart, the large heart, if that helps you. Breathing the emotion in is the basis for empathy, for being able to stand in someone else's shoes. You're feeling anger or fear or jealousy or poverty. And then as you breathe in, there could be the recognition that billions and zillions of people feel this right this moment. And they have felt this in the past, and they will feel this in the future. You're touching into a universal experience. I love the perspective of that. I love that it reminds us of the collective and the connection to all, and that every emotion that we go through is felt by others in the same ways, in different capacities, and there is a level of comfort to that, a level of knowing, and it reminds us that we are all one, we are all interconnected. So it can help us drop into more of ourselves, more of a sense of peace, perhaps, as we meditate. Okay, moving on. Unconditional friendliness, page 47. Whenever we practice meditation, it is important to try to refrain from criticizing ourselves about how we practice and what comes up in our practice. This would only be training in being hard on ourselves. I want to emphasize the importance of maintaining an atmosphere of unconditional friendliness when you practice and as you take your practice out into the world. We can practice for a lot of years. I know many people who have practiced for countless years, decades even, and somewhere along in their umpteenth year, it dawns on them that they haven't been using that practice to develop loving kindness for themselves. Rather, it's been somewhat aggressive meditation towards themselves, perhaps very goal-oriented. As someone said, I meditated all those years because I wanted people to think I was a good Buddhist. Or I meditated all those years out of a feeling of I should do this. It would be good for me. And so naturally we come to meditation with the same attitudes with which we come to everything. I've seen this with students time and time again, and it is very human. Rather than letting this be something to feel bad about, you can discover who you are at your wisest and who you are at your most confused. You get to know yourself in all your aspects. At times completely sane and open-hearted, and at other times completely messed up and bewildered. We are all at times a basket case. Meditation gives you the opportunity to get to know yourself in all those aspects. Judging ourselves for how our practice is going or what might be coming up for us during meditation is a kind of subtle aggression towards ourselves. Wow. It's kind of hard to hear that, hey? This is your chance. This is page 50, sorry, bottom of page 50. This is your chance. This little short human life that you have is your opportunity. Don't blow it. Think about how you want to use this time. Meditation is a patient process of knowing that gradually over time, these habits are dissolving. We don't actually get rid of anything. We are just steadfast with ourselves, developing clearer awareness and becoming honest about who we are and what we do. In basic sitting practice, we befriend ourselves. Bottom of page 51. When I became friends with my body, my mind, and my transient emotions, and when I was able to comfortably settle into myself more and more, and remember, this takes time, then staying in the present moment in all situations became more possible for me to do. I was able to, in meditation, to return to my breath, stop beating myself up. I still have meditation sessions when I think or stress or deal with heavy emotions the whole time. It's true. However, after all these years, I'm definitely a lot settled, you'll be glad to know. And like before, the thoughts and emotions don't throw me. If I sit down and my mind is going wild or I'm worried about something, I can still touch into a settledness that I feel with my mind and my body and my life. It's not necessarily because things are going so great. Life, as you well know, is a continuous succession. It's great, it's lousy, it's agreeable, it's disagreeable, it's joyous and blissful, and at other times it's sad. And being with this continual succession of agreeable and disagreeable with an open spirit, open heart, and open mind, that's why I sit to meditate. And being with this continual succession of agreeable and disagreeable with an open spirit, open heart, and open mind, that's why I sit to meditate. So just a couple of glimpses into the book of Pema. She has many, many books too, if you are curious. She has a great sense of humor and she really connects her teachings to the Western world. And I hope there were some glimpses of insight for you there and maybe a sense of comfort that we are all on this journey of self-discovery, and meditation is just one part of that. And it's not necessarily easy or effortless, and it does take work and commitment and patience. But that there is a sense of comfort. There is a sense of ease in knowing that we are all experiencing emotion. We are all experiencing times of challenge, virtue, and joy and bliss. And our meditation practice is a tool that helps us with those processes, helps us to continue to find an anchor in our lives, to ground, to settle, to be receptive, and to develop more understanding and compassion. And that firstly starts with ourselves. So the next time you come to sit in meditation, can we befriend ourselves? Can we go gently on ourselves? Can we allow the practice to have a sort of lightness to it? rather than it being goal oriented? Can we be in the present moment to feeling into our bodies, feeling into our emotions, and breathing with all of that? I thank you so much for your time this morning. If you have any questions about what was read today, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer them all. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your meditation practice if you're going into it now. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.